Joining us now, National Review politics reporter Audrey Fahlberg. Audrey, I never understood why working too much is a problem for people. What's the latest on this?
You know, it's pretty rich coming from legacy media outlets who decline to report tough stories on Joe Biden, whose not only physical but cognitive decline was obvious to the American people. Not reporting on any of that until the debate when it became too obvious to ignore. But look, I'm in the White House pretty regularly asking President Trump questions. Oftentimes when he holds an event, he'll speak to reporters and take questions for up to 45 minutes, and that's on top of a really busy schedule, as you just mentioned. I think that the timing of this is pretty ridiculous and rich. We're a year into Trump's term, so I think reporters are just trying to dig in.
I did love Meghan Hayes. She posted on X, Donald Trump is aging rapidly. And I saw some comments that she made on MS Now. She was the Easter Bunny who dressed up and steered Joe Biden away from reporters when he started going back in 2022. That's even before he was wearing the slip-on shoes and they had to start sending him up the short staircase in the back of Air Force One. But so I let all of these reporters write or say whatever they want because they expose themselves as liars and fabulous.
Dagan, you're completely right. And I think, now that we're in December, I'm reminded of a story I wrote in December 2023, interviewing House Democrats who hadn't regularly interviewed or seen Joe Biden up close, telling me in December 2023 that they were worried that Joe Biden wouldn't make it to Election Day. This is after we at National Review, Fox News, conservative outlets were regularly reporting on Joe Biden's age and obvious cognitive decline. Meanwhile, so many mainstream reporters were completely ignoring it when, again, it was obvious to the American people. And of course, as you mentioned, Joe Biden's aides were not only deflecting questions about it, but just shielding him from the public view. He didn't ever do sit downs with major newspapers, didn't ever do lengthy press conferences or, let alone speak to reporters on Air Force One regularly or engage in tough questions in White House briefing rooms. It's just kind of absurd, again, the timing of this. And I think it's, again, a reminder of how little work a lot of these journalists really did during the last administration.
Yeah, I want to, as a voter myself, I want to move away from even creating a comparison between Biden and Trump. Several months back, I posted something on X talking about how hard this president was working. And whether you like him or not, what you can't argue with is the amount of time and energy being committed to improving the country. And that's something that I think people need to really, really pay attention to.
I think that's absolutely right. And I think we're right to focus on how much he's been traveling, so many foreign trips. Biden just had such a light schedule. As we learned during, after the debate, his schedule was practically 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then he called a lid. Right. That's compared with a president now who's just constantly doing events and disagree with him on policy. He's constantly in front of the American people, and the American people, can see for themselves that he is, in good shape. That's cognitively right. And physically.
Yeah, thank you so much, Audrey.
Thanks so much.
It was great to see you, Audrey. Thank you so much.